Could it be that the great Israeli exodus from Egypt wasn't a single event etched in the annals of time, but rather a narrative seen from two distinct viewpoints? We find ourselves diving into the depths of two ancient stories. On one side, we have the dramatic account from the Bible, and on the flip side, a less known but equally compelling story composed by an Egyptian sage named Ipuwer in his work, The Admonitions of an Egyptian Sage. Ipuwer's papyrus gives us an interesting perspective. Indeed, the Nile overflows, yet none plough for it. Everyone says, "We do not know what will happen throughout the land." Indeed, the women are barren and none conceive. Khnum fashions men no more because of the condition of the land. Indeed, poor men have become owners of wealth, and he who could not make sandals for himself is now a possessor of riches. Indeed, men's slaves, their hearts are sad, and magistrates do not fraternize with their people when they shout. Indeed, hearts are violent, pestilence is throughout the land, blood is everywhere, death is not lacking, and the mummy cloth speaks even before one comes near it. Indeed, many dead are buried in the river. The stream is a sepulchre, and the place of embalmment has become a stream. Indeed, noblemen are in distress, while the poor man is full of joy. Every town says, "Let us suppress the powerful among us." Indeed, men are like ibises. Squalor is throughout the land, and there are none indeed whose clothes are white in these times. Indeed, the land turns around as does a potter's wheel. The robber is a possessor of riches, and the rich man is become a plunderer. Indeed, trusty servants are... The poor man complains, "How terrible! What am I to do?" Indeed, the river is blood, yet men drink of it. Men shrink from human beings and thirst after water. Indeed, gates, columns and walls are burnt up, while the hall of the palace stands firm and endures. Indeed, the ship of the southerners has broken up, towns are destroyed, and Upper Egypt has become an empty waste. In the biblical version, the Israeli Exodus is a narrative of divine intervention, of 10 plagues cast by God to persuade Pharaoh to release his chosen people. It's a tale of a humble shepherd, Moses, guiding his people through the split waters of the Red Sea and into the freedom of the Promised Land. It's a story of faith, bravery, and divine providence. As we delve further into this unique narrative, we find another perspective in Ipuwer's papyrus, where he vividly describes the state of Egypt during this period of chaos. He writes, "Indeed, gold and lapis lazuli, silver and turquoise, carnelian and amethyst, ibet stone, and are strung on the necks of maidservants. Good things are throughout the land, yet housewives say, 'Oh, that we had something to eat!'" Unlike the biblical account, Ipuwer does not attribute these events to a divine cause. Instead, he describes a land filled with wealth and precious stones, yet plagued by hunger and despair. The rich and the poor are no longer distinguishable, as everyone is affected by the chaos. He goes on to describe a land where noise is incessant, where the wish for death is common among both the great and the small. The children of princes are dashed against walls, and the secrets of the embalmers are exposed. Ipuwer's account paints a bleak picture of a society in turmoil, where wealth and luxury cannot compensate for the lack of basic necessities. It's a society where the hierarchy has been disrupted, and the boundaries between the rich and the poor, the powerful and the weak, have been blurred. The land is left to its own weakness, like the cutting of flax, as Ipuwer laments. Yet when we turn our gaze to Ipuwer's account, we find a tale that echoes eerily with the biblical narrative. Ipuwer describes Egypt in chaos, a land in the grips of plagues and disaster, much like the biblical Egypt post the divine plagues. The river Nile turns to blood, crops fail, and disease is rampant, he writes. However, there is no mention of a divine hand or a humble shepherd leading people to freedom. Instead, it's a lament, a cry for order amidst chaos. Despite the stark differences in their narratives, both stories paint a vivid picture of an Egypt in turmoil. The Bible views these events as a divine plan, a necessary upheaval for the liberation of the Israelites. Ipuwer, on the other hand, perceives this as a period of great chaos and moral decay, a time of upheaval without apparent cause or resolution. Yet it's in these disparities that we find a fascinating common ground. Both accounts, though differing in interpretation, reflect a period of great upheaval, of societal collapse and eventual renewal. They offer us a glimpse into a time of great change, a time that would shape the course of history and leave an indelible mark on both Egyptian and Israeli cultures. To summarize the biblical Exodus and Ipuwer's account, while divergent in their perspectives, share a common thread of disruption and transformation. The Bible presents this as a divine act, a testament to the indomitable spirit of the Israelites, led by their faith in a humble shepherd. Ipuwer, however, sees this as a time of moral and societal decay, a lament for a once great civilization in chaos. The beauty of these narratives lies not just in their historical significance, but in the questions they prompt us to ask. What is the nature of truth? How does perspective shape our interpretation of events? And perhaps most intriguingly, could these two disparate accounts be two sides of the same historical coin? A tale of Exodus told through the lens of the victor and the vanquished. In the end, whether divine intervention or societal decay, the Exodus remains an enduring tale of transformation and renewal, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. And that, perhaps, is the most enduring message of all.